So hello students, good morning everyone. Fine. So I just want to tell you one thing. Some students of KNMS JE sections and from other schools, right? So I just got the complaint like you are not attending the class by correct time, 8:30, right? So please do attend the class properly or else you will be missing your attendance. So from your school coordinators and also from the host, we just got the information like you are entering into the class by 9 o'clock or 9:05, 9:10 something. So only 5 minutes, maximum 5 minutes, you are allowed to enter into the class. Okay. So your class timing starts by 8:30 and you all should enter into the class before 8:35. So if you are coming late after 8:35, you will be put absent, right? So please do attend the class sharply. Don't get late for the class. Fine. So students, yesterday you would have written strategies for enhancement in food production chapter, right? For your NEET exam. So the coming week Saturday portion, please note down properly. Till Saturday evening and Sunday morning, you are asking me what is the portion. I don't know why, right? So from Monday to Friday, every day I'm telling in the class like you should. This is the weekly portion for you, but still you are asking me the question till Sunday morning. Please note down when I am telling the portion, right? So this week your NEET exam portion is Human Health and Disease chapter up to. See, I am telling in the class, right? So from whom do you expect the portions to be told? I am telling in the class, I am handling biology for you. So I am telling you the portion in the regular classes every day from Monday to Friday, all days in your class I am telling. Then from whom did you expect the portions to be confirmed? Is I am going to prepare the question paper. I am going to decide the portion. So you can believe me, trust me, right? So you please note down the portion what I am telling. Fine. So this week your portion NEET exam portion for biology, human health and disease chapter up to immunology part. Fine. So up to immunology part, that too I will tell you like on Wednesday exactly I will tell you. You can start reading the chapter. Suppose if I am not able to complete this immunology part before Wednesday, I will tell you up to which concept you have. Right. So reminding whatever I am taking after Wednesday, you need not to take. You need not to study for your this week portion. Okay. Diseases part is there completely for your this week portion, ma. Again, I am telling complete diseases part. Fine. So complete diseases portion is there. Whatever diseases we discussed, that is protozoal diseases, bacterial diseases, fungal disease, viral disease, helminthes disease, all those things. And under immunology topic, whatever portions I am taking till coming Wednesday. So after Wednesday, the portions what I am discussing will not be there for your this week NEET portion. Okay. So that I will confirm and tell you on Wednesday. You can start reading your diseases portion. Fine. So let us start the class, students. Let us start the session. Okay. Yeah. I saw all your marks, biology marks. Some students have sent me in my WhatsApp. So remaining students, I will see your marks in your overall sheet. Okay. So in your overall mark sheet today, they will consolidate and send me the result. I will let me see the marks of you. Comparatively, all of you are scoring good marks in biology. I'm so happy for that. But still, you have to improve your marks. Okay. So I'm expecting all of you to score more than 300 in your bio. So in your final NEET exam, only if you are scoring more than 300 in your biology, you can easily reach your score 500 to 600. That is in the overall score. Okay. So please try to improve your scores so that it should be more than 300. 300 plus. I want each one of you to score 300 plus in your bio. Okay. Not one or two students, all of you have to score more than 300. That is 300 plus should be your biology score. It should be always constant. Okay. Not only I'm telling for this week or next week like that. Always constantly a biology score should be 300 plus. Fine. Right. So students, actually Friday we were discussing about this immunology topic, right? So we discussed about this acquired immunity, what is primary response and what is secondary response. And then we started discussing about the lymphocytes, the B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes, how they are produced, right? So the lymphocytes will be produced in different organs. So initially in the yolk sac, then in your liver, and finally in the bone marrow. So this bone marrow lymphocytes will be transferred. Some of the lymphocytes will be entering into the thymus for maturation, and there it will develop into T lymphocytes. Okay, and some of them will remain in the bone marrow itself and they develop into B lymphocytes. And I gave you some differences between B cells and T cells, right? Then we discussed about the different types of acquired immunity, active acquired immunity and passive acquired immunity in the previous class. Okay, fine. Now we can directly go to the types of B cells and types of T cells. So first let me tell you what are the types of B cells. You can start writing in your class notes. You can take your notebook and start writing see, whatever I am writing on the slide, you please listen to me, listen to my audio. At the same time, you please try to follow the slides. Okay, don't take too much time. You are not kids students. You are not like first standard, second standard students to copy the notes separately. Okay, you have to follow the class. If you follow the class properly, you will be able to write the notes. Only students, those who are coming late, you are asking me to show the slides again and again. Fine. So please don't do this and don't give disturbance to other students. Fine. Fine. So first one is B cells. Okay, you know what are B cells or B lymphocytes. Last class we discussed what are B cells. B cells are the bone marrow derivative cells. Okay, so bone marrow derivative cells, in the sense, initially all the lymphocytes will be produced in bone marrow, but 20% of the lymphocytes will get matured in your bone marrow, because remaining 80% of the lymphocytes, they will enter into your thymus. Through your bloodstream, it will enter into the thymus, and finally they will undergo maturation in your thymus, and those cells are going to be T cells or T lymphocytes. Now, in your B lymphocytes, what are the different types? So under B lymphocytes, we have two types of B cells. So the B lymphocytes, after maturation, it will undergo differentiation. Okay, so they will undergo maturation in your bone marrow, and following this maturation, they will undergo differentiation, and as a result of differentiation, there will be two different types of B cells formed. One is said to be the plasma B cells, okay, and other one is said to be the memory B cells. So one are plasma B cells, another one is memory B cells. So totally we have two different types of B cells differentiated from the B lymphocytes. Okay, so the B lymphocytes are the one which undergo maturation in your bone marrow. After undergoing maturation, it will follow this differentiation process. When it is differentiating, the B cells will differentiate into two types. The first type is plasma B cells and the second type is memory B cells. So these plasma B cells are the one which will produce antibodies. Okay, plasma B cells are the one which are responsible for producing antibodies. But you have to keep one thing in your mind. Plasma B cells, they alone cannot produce antibodies. The plasma B cells, it should take the help of, with the help of T cells, one group of T cells. Okay, under T cells, we are going to see one type of T cells. With the help of one type of T cells, the plasma B cells will produce antibodies, and the main group of cells which are responsible for producing antibodies are the one which we call it as plasma B cells. Okay, and what are these memory B cells? What they are going to do? Okay, you just recall your primary response and secondary response of your immune system. I told you in your primary response, that is when the first time when the pathogen encounter into your body, your immune system will be acting very slowly, and it will be a weak response or a very low intensity response, and that is what we call it as primary response. Okay, now what during this period, after the first encounter of pathogen, okay, first time when your pathogen enter into your body, right? So it will chooses the target cell, and it will multiply, and it will causes symptoms, right? During this period, your memory cells are the one. These memory cells, they are the one which are responsible for memorizing the memory cells will memorize the nature of your pathogen. Okay, it will start memorizing the nature of the pathogen, which we call it as antigen, right? So why it is memorizing the nature of pathogen? Because when second time the same pathogen enters into the body, this time the immune response is going to be so vigorous, which is a highly intensified immune response. That is what we call it as secondary response. During the secondary response, your immune system will not allow the pathogen to enter into the body. And so what will happen? This time your immune response will be very vigorous, and the antibody production will be multiple times more, right? And that's why your secondary, during the second time when the pathogen try to enter into the body, your immune system is very aware of that, and it is not allowing the pathogen to enter and cause the infection. So which cells are responsible for the secondary response? In the sense, your memory cells, which comes under your one type of B cells. Okay, so this memory B cells, after the first encounter of pathogen, it will strongly memorize the nature of the pathogen, and during the secondary immune response, it is responsible for your plasma B cells. It will alert your plasma B cells to produce the antibodies, and high intensified immune response will be produced during your secondary response. Okay, so this is what your plasma B cells and your memory B cells will do. Okay, so the two functions of your plasma B cells and memory B cells. Okay, right? So B cells are the one which are first produced in the lymphocytes. Later it will get matured in your bone marrow, and after undergoing maturation, it will undergo differentiation. While undergoing differentiation process, it will produce two different types of cells. One is plasma B cells and other one is memory B cells. Plasma B cells, they are responsible for producing antibodies against antigen. Okay, and these plasma B cells, they will not produce antibodies alone. The plasma B cells will produce antibodies with the help of one type of T cells. We will discuss that what type of T cell is responsible for that in your types of T cells. Okay, and memory B cells, after the first encounter of pathogen, these memory B cells, they memorize the nature of pathogen and help you in your secondary response. This is what regarding your two different types of B cells. Okay, so please copy this slide so that we can move on to the next topic. What are the different types of T cells? Under T cells, we are not having two, we are having four. Okay, so we are going to discuss four different types of T cells under the T cell category. Please copy, ma. Then and there, you please copy the slide. Don't leave any notes left. Okay, so you don't wait for the last till the end of the class to copy the notes. Okay, fine. So shall I go on to the next topic? Fine. You just write the next topic. What are the different types of T cells? Right? So in the previous slide, we discussed about the different types of B cells. Again, the T cells also, they will differentiate and it will produce four different types of cells. So what about your T cell students? T cells, where they are produced? T cells, where they are produced? Can you give your answer? T cells, where they are produced? Produced in? Nobody is giving me answer. No, thymus. Again, this is what I told you in the previous class. Don't say thymus for production of lymphocytes. Thymus is where the lymphocytes undergo maturation. Okay. So production, whatever, B cells or T cells, where they are produced. If the question is about production, you should say bone marrow. Very good. Okay. Bone marrow is the answer for the production of lymphocytes. Only if they are asking you if the B cells are maturing where or the T cells are maturing where, then you can say B cells will mature in bone marrow, T cells will mature in thymus. Okay. If the question is where your B cells and T cells are produced, then you have to say it is bone marrow. After production in bone marrow, 80% of your lymphocytes will enter into thymus region for maturation. Okay. So there in thymus, it will get maturation, and after maturation it will undergo differentiation, and as a result of differentiation it will produce four different types of T cells. Now we are going to discuss what are the four different types of T cells. Okay, so you please write down the four different types of T cells. I will write down here. Okay, the first type of T cell is your HT cells. The second one is ST cells. The third type of T cell is KT cells. And fourth type is memory cells. Here in T cells also you have memory cells as you had in your B cells. Okay. So this memory cells are the common type of cells which are present in B cells and also in T cells. So what is this HT? It is said to be helper T cells. Helper T cells are simply called as HT cells. And what do you mean by ST cells? ST cells are called as suppressor T cells. ST cells are suppressor T cells. And what is meant by KT cells? KT cells are killer T cells. Okay, and last one is memory cells, which comes under T cells. So what is this HT cells? Helper T cells. It is going to help some other cells. It is nothing but, in the previous slide, you just take your previous slide. You see, I told you plasma B cells, with the help of one type of T cells, they will produce the antibodies, right? So it is nothing but the helper T cells. Helper T cells are the one group of cells which will help your plasma B cells for producing antibodies. Now, helper T cells, what is the role of helper T cells? It will help plasma B cells in the production of antibodies. It will help the plasma B cells in the production. You know, plasma B cells are directly responsible for the production of antibodies. But there is one exception. Your plasma B cells alone, it cannot produce antibodies. Only if helper T cells accompanies them or help them, your plasma B cells will be able to produce the antibodies. That is why the name of the cells are called as helper T cells, because it is helping your plasma B cells in the production of antibodies. Okay. Now, already you have studied about this helper T cells. Let me ask you one question. You please answer in your chat. Already in one disease, you studied that particular infectious organism will target your helper T cells, and so antibody production will not take place in that particular patient. Can you tell me in which particular disease you studied about this? Yes, very good. Only 2 students have answered. Other students, you don't know the answer? In which disease your helper T cells will be totally attacked by the infectious organism? Very good. It is AIDS. Okay. In AIDS we studied. You just recall your AIDS disease. HIV organism, first it will enter into macrophages. There it will multiply and undergo reverse transcription process. From there it will enter into your helper T cells, and there again it will undergo multiplication, and slowly your number of helper T cells will come down. And I told you, and as a result, when your helper T cells come down, your immune system will lose the ability to produce the antibodies, because if helper T cells are not there, it will not help. If the helper T cells are not available, then your plasma B cells cannot produce the antibodies alone. And that is why in AIDS patient, antibody production is not taking place and their immune system is completely getting paralyzed. Okay, so this is the reason. I think now you would have got the reason why helper T cells, when come down, your antibody production is not taking place in the patient's body, right? Fine. Now, this is the role of your helper T cells. Now, coming to the second category of T cells, that is your ST cells, which we call it as suppressor T cells. Okay. Suppressor T cells means suppressing. It is going to suppress the activity of something. So, it is going to suppress the activity of whom? So, let me tell. The suppressor T cells are going to suppress our own immune system. Why it should suppress our own immune system? It is going to suppress the immune system after the antigen antibody reaction is over. Okay, let me explain. Wait. After the antigen antibody reaction is over. So what do you mean by this? See, if an antigen is entering into your body, once when antigen enters into the body, now your immune system will start working against it. It will start producing your antibodies, right? And your antibodies, which are produced by your immune system, that is by your lymphocytes, it will go and fight against the antigen. Fine. Now your antibodies have completely killed your antigen, which has entered into the body. Now, this antibody production, if it continues, what will happen? then the antibodies which has that is still after killing the antigen also, if the antibody production is continuing in your body, it will start killing your own self antigens. Or if the antibodies are killing your own self antigens, then their autoimmune disorders will occur. That should not occur, right? So once your antigen has been completely killed, the antibody production should be completely stopped. Antibody production should occur only when a foreign antigen enters into the body, or else antibody production, it should not occur simply inside your body. If antibodies are simply produced in your body without the presence of antigen, then these antibodies will start killing your own self antigens, resulting in autoimmune disorder. And that is why the suppressor T cells are participating in suppressing your immune system once your antigen antibody fighting is over or reaction is over. Got it, students? Why the suppressor T cells are suppressing your immune system? So antibody, antigen, antibody reaction will occur till the antigen is completely killed. Once your antigen is killed, antibody production should be immediately stopped. That stopping of antibody production by your immune system will be done by the suppressor T cells, and that is why it is called as suppressing the immune system. Okay, fine. Now the third category of T cells are the killer T cells. Killer T cells. This killer T cells is having another name. You can call them as CT cells, which we call it as cytotoxic T cells. Cytotoxic T cells. Okay. So the helper T cells can be written as HT cells. Also, you can write the helper T cells like this. TH cells, which means helper T cells. Similarly, the cytotoxic T cells can also be written as TC cells, which we call it as cytotoxic T cells. Okay. Either HT cells can be written in the form of TH cells. At the same time, your cytotoxic T cells can be written as TC cells, which we call it as cytotoxic T cells. And these cells, cyto means cell, toxic means it is going to kill. And that's why it is called as killer T cells. Okay. Now let me tell what is the role of this killer T cells or cytotoxic T cells. They kill virus. These cells, killer T cells, they kill virus infected cells. They kills virus infected cells or the cancerous cells present in a body. Told you, right, sometimes our oncogenes may get activated. The immune system will not allow them to cause cancer at all times. Okay, so your immune system will work against the cancerous cells also. The particular cells which are going to work against the cancerous cells are this killer T cells, also called as cytotoxic T cells. These T cells, they will kill the virus infected cells in our body or the cancerous cells present in the body. It is not only responsible for killing the virus infected cells or cancerous cells, it is also responsible, I will add here, it is also responsible for the rejection of foreign tissue. If any foreign particle enters into the body, they will also participate in killing those foreign cells. So they are responsible for killing the foreign tissue also, right? So the immunity which is provided by this killer T cells is called as cell-mediated immunity. This is what I gave you in the difference between B cells and T cells. You can take that class notes. You just turn your pages and see the difference between B cells and T cells, what I gave you that day on Friday. You can see T cells, I have given the immunity, the name of the immunity provided by T cells is called a cell-mediated immunity. That will exactly occur in case of this killer T cells, where they will kill the foreign cells or reject the foreign cells, and that type of immunity is called a cell-mediated immunity. And the last type of cells are the memory T cells. The memory T cells is having the same role of memory B cells. What your memory B cells will do? I told you, these cells memorize they will memorize the encounter of pathogen. Okay. The memory B cells and memory T cells are having the same role. When the first time when your pathogen encounters into your body, during that first time, the pathogen, when it is present in your body, that is when you are affected with the disease, your memory cells completely memorize the pathogen and it will collect all the information about the pathogen and store them. When second or third time or fourth time subsequent period, when the pathogen enters into your body, your memory cells will be so like alert, and it will be aware of the pathogen, and it will not allow the pathogen to enter into the body. And that time the immune response which is produced is called as the secondary response, which is completely created by this memory cells. Okay, so your memory cells are very, very important for preventing the subsequent entry of pathogen into your body. This is about your 4 different types of T cells. You can copy the slide, students. I will wait for some time. Please copy the notes fastly. Yeah, so one student has asked me a question, ma'am, if we induce the killer T cells, can we kill coronavirus cell? See, killer T cells are going to kill the virus infected cells, right? Yes, of course it will kill. But when the organism is highly resistant to anything, we cannot kill them. That is what happening in your corona cases. Corona cases, like when the coronavirus enters into your body, it will easily cross the like what is that? It will completely take the machinery of the cell through which it is entering. That's why once if it takes the machinery of the cell, it will completely make your host cell to it will dominate your host cell, and it will completely arrest your host cell by not doing any activities. Some organisms will be like this. Some organisms which are highly resistant, they will not allow any of our immune cells to work against them. That is what happening in your corona condition. Okay. No, corona, no, it will not do mutation. So it is not having one under virus, under your pathogenic organism. Only a human papilloma virus is having the ability to cause mutation in your body, which can causes cancer. And no other organism will cause mutation. It will not affect the genes. Okay. See, always keep one thing in your mind. Pathogenic organisms, it will not causes mutation in your body genes. Okay. It will causes infection. It will not causes mutation in your body. Fine. Okay, fine. Have you all copied the slide, students? So I just want to end up this T types of T cells with one more information. See, on the basis of all these T cells will have some receptors on the cell surface. Okay. So on the basis of the type of receptors which are present on the cell surface, on the basis of the type of receptors present on the cell surface on all the different types of your T cells, okay, except your memory cells, on the different types of T cells on the cell surface of your T cells, there will be some receptors present. Okay, so these based on the type of the receptors present on the cell surface, you have two different types of cells. One is called as the T4 cells, another one is called as T8 cells. Okay, because I am talking only about the T cells, cell surface of your T cells, not your B cells. Okay, on the basis of type of receptors present on the cell surface of your T cells, you have T4 cells and T8 cells. Let me tell you, T4 cells are the HT cells, because HT cells will have the receptor 4. That's why the HT cells becomes under T4 type of cells. And T8 cells, right? T8 cells are the remaining ST cells and KT cells. ST cells, suppressor T cells and killer T cells, they will have the receptors 8. So they will come under the category of T8 cells. Based on the type of receptors present on the cell surface of your T cells, we are going to categorize the T cells into two. One is the T4 cells, another one is T8 cells. T4 cells are the one which are said to be HT cells, and T8 cells are the one which are said to be ST cells and KT cells. So you please note this information also, students. This is also very important for you. You remember again in AIDS, I told you HT cells comes under the category of T4 cell receptors. And in AIDS, HT cells are the one which are affected by your HIV, right? So HIV targets your T4 receptors, not T8 receptors, because HIV target cells are not ST cells or KT cells. HIV target is HT cells. When HT cells means the receptors which are going to be present on the surface of your HT cells are the T4 receptors. So HIV target receptor is T4. It is not T8. Okay, got it? So by this we are completing your B cells and T cells. We are going to switch on to the next topic, that is about antigens. Okay. You please complete this slide. I will start this antigens in a new slide, ma. Please finish it off soon. Students, hope you are all taking your class notes properly, right? I am telling you again and again, whatever information I am giving you, it is not, everything is not there in your NCERT book, right? So please take your class notes properly, which will be easy for you for the final preparation of your NEET also. Fine. So now we can move on to the, switch on to the new topic. The next topic under immunology, what we are going to discuss is, no, memory cells will not have any receptors. Memory cells will not have receptors. That's why I didn't include the memory cells under this T4 cells and T8 cells. Only this helper T cells, suppressor T cells and killer T cells will have receptors. Okay. So you just keep it in your mind, memory cells in your B cells and memory cells in your T cells. They will not go and interact with any cells. The cells which are interacting with other cells will have receptors. Memory cells are just like hard disk in your computer. So what is the role of hard disk? It will store all the memory, right? So the same process your plasma B cells, sorry, your memory B cells and memory T cells will also do. Whatever pathogen enters into the body, it will collect all the information about the pathogen and it will memorize them and store them. When the pathogen enters into the body for the second time, it will help them to alert your immune system in producing the antibodies for the secondary response. That is the role of your memory cells. So it will not have any receptors on the cell surface. Got it? Fine. Now, see, so far, whatever things we have completed, I will just list down here the completed topics in your immunology. First, we started about immunity. What is immunity? Right? Then we saw the different types of immunity. Under this type, we discussed about innate immunity and acquired. Under acquired, we discussed about active and passive, right? Then we discussed about the lymphocytes. So what are B lymphocytes and what are T lymphocytes, how they are produced, where they are matured, and what are the different types of B cells and T cells. Up to this, we have completed in your immunology part, okay? B cells and T cells, right? Now, the next thing what we are going to discuss is what are antigens. Okay, what are antigen? Because in B cells and T cells, again and again we are telling about antigen and antibody. So you have to know what are antigens, and next we are going to discuss what are antibodies. So these two topics are very, very important because your immune system is basically based on these two things. One is antigen and another one is antibody. So under this, first we are going to discuss about antigens. So please put the heading as antigen. Fine. So what is this antigen? If you divide this word antigen, you can divide it into two words. One is anti, another one is gen. Okay. Anti plus gen is called as antigen. So what is the meaning of this anti and gen? Let me tell you. This antigen is an acronym for antibody generating material. How do this antigen word came? It is antibody generating material. Antibody generating material. Anti for antibody, GEN for generating material. You can see this gen and this anti from antibody together taken, and it is kept as antigen. Okay, why it is called as an antibody generating material? Because you know in your acquired immunity, the principle is based on antigen antibody interaction. And when antibodies will be produced in your body, only if an antigen enters into your human body, Antibodies will be produced by the lymphocytes. Unless antibodies will not be produced, because there is no role for antibodies if there is no antigen, right? What is the role of your antibody? Antibody should go and fight with the antigen. Antibody will go and fight with antigen, and it will kill the antigen. If the antigens are killed, your body is protected. Or if your antigen kills your antibodies, then you will be infected with your disease, right? So this is what happens in your antigen antibody interaction. So antigens are the one which help that is which is going to generate the antibody, that is antibody generating material are called as antigens. Okay, so if they are asking you what is the definition of antigen, you can write antigens are antibody generating material, right? Now what are these antigens? Antigens are all, okay. What are enzymes? What are enzymes? Can you respond in your chat? What are enzymes? Enzymes are carbohydrates, or enzymes are proteins, or enzymes are lipids, or enzymes are vitamins, or enzymes are minerals. Please tell your answer. What are enzymes? Give your response. Enzymes are proteins. Very good. Very good. Yes. All, and you would have studied a statement in biomolecules chapter in your 11th portion, right? All enzymes are proteins, but all proteins are not enzymes. Right. Similarly, now what are antigens? Can you tell me what are antigens? Antigens are carbohydrates, or antigens are proteins, or antigens are lipids, or antigens are glycoproteins, or antigens are glycolipids. What type of biomolecules are antigens? What type of biomolecules are antigens? Please give your response. Just by your idea, guess. Antigens are carbohydrates, or antigens are proteins, or antigens are lipids, or antigens are mixed, like glycoprotein or glycolipid or lipoprotein or anything like that. Okay, fine. Okay, different, like you are giving me different answers. Some are telling like antigens are carbohydrates, some are telling antigens are proteins, some are telling antigens are lipids, and some are telling antigens are glycoproteins, glycolipids, like that. Now let me tell you the correct answer. Antigens are of different biomolecules. Antigens are not always constant like your enzymes. Okay, antigens are not always proteins, antigens are not always carbohydrate, antigens are not always lipids, or antigens are not always glycoprotein. Let me tell you what antigens are of. I told you it is of different biomolecules. They are of different biomolecules. So what are the different biomolecules possible? Mostly antigens are proteins. Okay, so I told you 100% all antigens are not proteins, but mostly they are proteins. What are the other possibilities antigens can be? Antigens mostly they are proteins, but it can also be a polysaccharide. Polysaccharide means what? Carbohydrate. Okay, it can be a polysaccharide, which means it is a carbohydrate. It can be a carbohydrate also. Fine. It can also be a mixture of carbohydrate and protein, which we call it as glycoproteins. Okay, or it can be any other conjugated protein, glycoprotein or any other conjugated protein. You know what are the different type of conjugated proteins? You have nucleoprotein, you have lipoprotein, you have glycoprotein, or any other conjugated protein. Okay, so then it can be nucleic acids also. Antigens can be nucleic acids. Okay, these are all the possibilities of antigens. Or it can be, or finally it can be any chemical compound. Antigens can be any other chemical compound. That means any other biomolecule can be, right? But these are the most possibilities. It can be any other chemical compound. Mostly they are proteins, or else sometimes they are polysaccharide carbohydrates, or sometimes it may be glycoprotein or any other conjugated protein, or it can be a nucleic acid or any other chemical compound. So please don't think antigens are only proteins, or antigens are only carbohydrate, or only lipid, or only glycoprotein, like that. Okay, antigen can be of any biomolecule. It can be a pure protein, pure carbohydrate, or pure nucleic acid, or it can be a conjugated compound also. Conjugated in the sense it can be a mixture of carbohydrate and protein. or it can be mixture of carbohydrate and lipid, or it can be a mixture of lipid and protein, or nucleic acid and protein. So it can be any other conjugated type, or it can be of purely simple type also. So you please keep it this in your mind. Don't think antigens are purely proteinaceous or purely carbohydrate or purely lipids or any other biomolecule. Okay, you please copy this slide. I will wait. Yeah, just now I told you test portion. I think this KVS Keshav Kumar, you came late for the class. In the first 5 minutes, I was discussing about the test portion, need portion for this week. As you came late, I think you were not known about that, right? Human health and disease chapter up to this coming Wednesday, whatever portion I am taking. Diseases part already we completed. Immunology is going on now, right? Immunology, I think I am not able to complete immunology before Wednesday. If I am able to complete immunology before Wednesday, then the portion will be complete diseases part and immunology part. Suppose if I am not completing immunology before Wednesday, till Wednesday, whatever I am taking, that will be the portion for your this week NEET exam. Got it? Right. Now, students, we can move on to the next slide. Fine. Now, let me continue. Still, some more information need to be known about antigens. Now, antigens are always macromolecules. You have to keep it in mind. Antigens are always macromolecules. They can never be micromolecules. Okay. Antigens are always macromolecule compounds. You know what is micromolecule and what is macromolecule? In biomolecules, you would have studied, right? How can you differentiate micromolecules and macromolecules, students? Just recall your biomolecules. Under biomolecules, you would have categorized into biomacromolecules and biomicromolecules. Which group of molecules are called as biomacromolecules and which group are biomicromolecules? Based on the molecular weight, you will categorize the compounds into biomacro and biomicro. Do you remember? The biomolecules molecular weight of greater than 800 Dalton. Molecular weight having more than 800 Daltons are said to be biomacromolecules, and biomicromolecules are the one which are less than 800 to 1000. See, in some books it will be given 800, in some books it will be given 1000. So you can say 800 to 1000. Greater than 800 to 1000 Dalton molecular weight are called as macromolecules. So antigens are always macromolecules. They can never be a micromolecule. Okay, right. Now, antigens are of two different kinds. The self antigens and the non-self antigens. So non-self antigens are also called as foreign antigens. Okay, what do you mean by the self antigens? Self antigens means these antigens are present in our body. These antigens are present in our body on the cell surface. Okay, cell surface of some body cells. On the cell surface of body cells, you will have some antigens which are your own antigens and they are self antigens. These antigens will not cause any infection in your body. Example, you can write example. I will tell you the blood group antigens. You would have studied in body fluids and circulation chapter, like based on the blood group antigens, you will categorize your blood group into A, B, O or AB. Like that, you have so many self antigens in your body on the surface of your body cells. And non-self antigens or the foreign antigens like a bacteria or a fungi or a virus or a protozoa, okay, or any other foreign particle which enters into your body, they are called as the non-self antigens. So these non-self antigens are the one which we call it as pathogens, that is the disease causing organisms. Your self antigens cannot be called as pathogens, okay, because they are our own antigens which will not cause us infection to us. They are responsible for carrying out some body functions in our body, right? But the non-self antigens are the one which are coming from out. They are called as the foreign antigens, which we call them as pathogens, which are capable of causing diseases to us or infections to us. Got it? So your immune system will differentiate the self and non-self antigen, and your immune system should attack only the non-self antigens in our body, not the self antigen. If the self antigens are attacked by our own immune system, that will result in autoimmune disorder. Okay, so you will study under immunological disorders why these autoimmune disorders are caused. If your immune system fails to differentiate your self antigen and non-self antigen, and they are not able to find out which is non-self antigen, and they will start attacking your own self antigens, which will result in autoimmune disorders. Okay, right. Now, a very important, an antigen will possess antigen, each antigen, okay, each antigen will have some antigenic determinants. It will not be one, it will possess many, it will possess many antigenic determinants. Okay, each antigen will have many antigenic determinant. So what is this antigenic determinant? Okay, I will tell you. See, when an antigen and antibody interact with each other, the antibodies will go and bind with the antigen only in this particular antigenic determinants. Okay, you know, antigen and antibody will interact. They will fight against each other. During this fight, when antigen wins, you will be infected with the disease. When antibody wins, you will be prevented from the disease. Now, when this antigen and antibody interaction is taking place, the antibodies which are produced by our immune system will go and fight with the antigen, will go and first of all it should go and bind with the antigen, right? That binding will occur only in this particular antigenic determinants. So if you are not knowing what is antigenic determinant, you please write it in bracket. Antigenic determinants are the sites where antibodies interact with antigen. It is the site where antibodies interact or bind with antigen. Antibodies cannot go and bind with a complete antigen. It will go and bind with the antigen only at particular sites. Those sites are called as antigenic determinants, and these antigenic determinants are having a special name. They are called as epitopes. Okay, the antigenic determinants or the sites where the antibodies go and bind with the antigen are called as epitopes. Okay, so please mention this epitopes here. The antigenic determinant are also called as epitopes. Let me write it on the next slide clearly, ma. See, antigen will have multiple antigenic determinants. This antigenic determinants are also called as antibody binding sites. Antibody binding sites, or it can also be called as epitopes. So multiple epitopes will be present in an antigen. Let me give you in the diagram. It will be easy for you. See, for example, this is an antigen. Okay, now I will show you the antigenic determinants in your body, right? So this V-shaped I am drawing, right? These are all called as the epitopes. So this is what I am saying. This pink color is the what which is showing this antigenic determinants, antibody binding sites or epitopes. Now antibodies will go and bind. Okay, antibodies will go and antibodies will come and interact with the antigen, right? So they will interact only at particular places where the antigenic determinants are present. Suppose here outside the cell surface of the antigen also this determinants will be there. Okay, these epitopes will be present on the cell surface also. Where the epitopes are there only the antibody will come and bind. Okay, it will come and bind. So this yellow color represents antibodies, students. Yellow color represents antibodies. This one white, this is the complete antigen, and the pink color I have drawn, right? That pink color is the one which is said to be the epitope, that is where the antibody will go and bind with the antigen. Okay. So always keep one statement in your mind. Okay. One antigen can bind with many antibodies. See, this is the whole thing is one antigen. But how many antibodies are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any number of antibodies can go and bind with the one with one antigen. So you please write this statement. One antigen can bind with many antibodies. Okay, this white color is the one which is represented as antigen, and this yellow color represent antibodies, and inside that pink color is the called as the antigenic determinant or antibody binding sites or epitopes, where the antibody will go and bind. Okay, so as many antigenic determinants they have, they can bind with as many antibodies, but on the whole it is only one antigen. So one antigen can bind with many antibodies. You have to remember this statement. This is a very, very important neat question. Okay. One antigen can bind with multiple antibodies. That's all. That's all the information about antigen. Then we can move on to the next topic, antibodies. Okay, I'll show you the slide 5. Slide 5 again. So this is slide 5, ma. Is copied fastly, students? This is sixth one. Okay, finished writing, students. Shall we move on to the next one? Okay, I will show you all the slides at the end. Those who are coming late to the class, you have to wait. You have to wait till the end. Okay, I'll show you all the slides only in the last 2 minutes. I cannot waste time for the other students who joined the class in the correct time, and I cannot waste my time also. From tomorrow, it is very strictly told, students. So today, as I'm giving information today, it will be an okay excuse for you. Okay, from tomorrow onwards, if you are not joining the class before 8:35, sure you will not give in attendance, you will be losing the attendance, and after that, like, it is not, you may think like it is not a problem if you lose attendance, but you may not get the hall ticket. Your board exam hall ticket will not be there if you are not having the some percentage of attendance is there to attend your board exam, which is mandatory for you. Okay, so please do attend the class. You are having only 1 hour class for all subjects. That too, if you are coming late for the class, you will be missing the classes. It is not like simply you are getting notes from your classmates or from your friends. You should listen to the class. Okay, simply by reading your class notes, if you are able to understand why we should come and teach for you, you can read your book and you can write your exams by your own, right? Teachers are not here only for like telling you go and read the book. We are taking the class from A to Z only for your understanding. So please try to understand that and attend your classes regularly. Don't miss any of your classes. Only 4 sessions you have. That 4 sessions you have to understand, you have to like attend the class from the beginning till the ending, right? Fine. Okay, so now antigen concept is over. Next we are going to discuss about antibodies. So now what are antibodies? I gave you some important information about antigen, right? So next we are going to discuss about antibodies, students. Now, again, I will ask you one question. I ask you what type of substances are antigens? What type of biomolecules are antigens? Then you gave me different answer. Then I told like it is not only one biomolecule, it is different biomolecule. Okay. Now, the same question I am asking you for antibodies. Can you tell me antibodies are also like antigens? They are of different biomolecules or they are of only one particular biomolecule? Can you give your answers? Okay, one student is telling antibodies are also different biomolecules. One student is giving me it is only protein. Particular means don't say simply particular. Tell me what is that particular. I don't want generalized answer. Okay, some students are saying like it is only of one particular biomolecule. What is that particular biomolecule? It is a carbohydrate or it is a protein or it is a vitamin or a mineral or something. I'm asking you what is antibody. Antibodies are what type of biomolecules, whether they are of particular biomolecule or they are of different biomolecules like antigen. Okay, fine. So different students have given me different answers. Now let me tell you the correct answer. Antibodies are of always 100%. They are of only one type of biomolecule. They are not like antigens. Okay, like your antigens, they are not of different types of biomolecules. They are all antibodies are all one type of biomolecule, and it is like your proteins, like your enzymes. It is like your enzymes. 100% your antibodies are only proteins. Okay, so please keep it in your mind. Enzymes and antibodies are always proteinaceous, but antigens and hormones are not single type. Hormones also like always you just have this clue. Okay, you just write this for your future reference. It will be easy for you. Antibodies and enzymes always will be proteins. Okay, antigens and hormones, they will be of different biomolecules. Antigens and hormones comes under different biomolecules category. They can be a protein, they can be a carbohydrate, they can be a lipid or a glycoprotein or a glycolipid or any other conjugated protein or conjugated lipid or anything. Okay, but antibodies and enzyme are not like that. They will be always proteins. Okay, so antibodies are pure proteins. Pure proteins. There is no combination of any other biomolecule in antibodies. They are pure proteins. Okay, antibody. This is just for your clue, ma. You can write it in your notebook. Okay, it will be easy for you to remember. So they are all pure proteins. In this pure proteins, in particular, they belong to one type of proteins, and that is they are globulin proteins. Under globulins, one pure category is gamma globulins. So all antibodies are pure proteins which comes under the category of gamma globulins. Have you studied this globulin protein somewhere in your body? You would have studied in your body fluids and circulation chapter under blood category. You would have studied blood can be like it is consisting of two things. One is blood plasma, another one is blood cells, which we call it as formed elements. Your RBC, WBC and platelets comes under blood cells. And plasma, when you are studying about the composition of plasma, what is the main composition of plasma? Water. Apart from water, you will have some plasma proteins. You studied 3 plasma proteins. Am I right? Albumin, globulin, fibrinogen. Albumin, globulin and fibrinogen. So that globulin protein is your antibody. Okay. Under globulin, you have alpha, beta, gamma, so many categories. And your antibodies are all belong to this gamma globulin category. So antibodies are proteins which is said to be in particular gamma globulin category, and this globulin can be called by another name that is called as immunoglobulins. Okay, why these globulins are in particular called as immunoglobulins? Reason is because antibodies, they participate in the immune system. Antibodies are playing a very important role, are participating in the immune system. So the globulins, as they are participating in the immune system, they are given the name, this immune word is joined together and it is called as immunoglobulins. Okay, so antibodies are mainly proteinaceous substances, 100% proteinaceous substance, in particular globulin protein, and as they are participating in the immune system, they are called as immunoglobulins. This immunoglobulins in short can be written as IG, immunoglobulin. This G should be written as a like subscript. Okay, it should be written as a subscript. You know subscript and superscript, right? If you are writing in the power, it is superscript. If you are writing below, it is called a subscript. So this IG represents immunoglobulins, which means our antibodies are all immunoglobulins which participate in your immune system. Students, sorry, I didn't see the time. Your time is over. Okay, I should go for the next class, right? I will show you all the slides from the beginning. You just copy all the slides now. This is the, we'll continue tomorrow about this antibodies. This is the first slide, ma. Please copy all the slides now, or just take the snapshot. Later you sit and copy. You're not having time. You are also having the next session, right? I should also go to the next session. So this is the first one, second one, second one. Yeah, medicine has been discovered for coronavirus. It is not medicine, it is vaccine. Okay. So tomorrow I will tell you about that. This is third slide. Students, I'm showing all the slides. Those who came late for the class, please copy all the slides or take a pic of the slides and later you sit and write. This is fourth one. This is fifth one. This is sixth one. And this is last one, seventh one. Okay, have you all copied? Fine. So tomorrow, like we shall discuss about the for antibodies, ma. So under antibodies, you will study about all the types of immunoglobulins, everything. Okay. So tomorrow, like we'll complete this antibody concept. Fine. Thank you so much. Meet you all tomorrow. So tomorrow you should all be exactly in the correct time. Okay. I expect all of you to attend the class by sharply by 8:30. Fine. Thank you.